You turn that microphone
You
up,
asked
please.
for me if you... I am paying for this microphone.
If you do that in another country, your family's house could be raided, your businesses can be closed. In America, people have the right to interrupt speeches, they have a right to be rude, they have a right to be wrong. We live in a free society. I thank God every day for it.
One getting fired up, the other staying pretty cool. But one thing that presidential candidate Ronald Reagan, the current presidential candidate Marco Rubio had in common, well, they seized the moment. To the Weekly Standard's Mike Warren on why this Marco Rubio moment might be quite telling. What did you glean from that, Mike?
Well, it's not exactly the same as the Reagan moment. The Reagan moment, remember, that was almost kind of staged, where he was bringing in these other candidates, and George Bush was kind of upset. But it was a great sort of moment of political theater. Yeah, I guess you expect that from Ronald Reagan, the actor. This was a little different.
Not the anger. At the time, we didn't expect the anger from him, but that did turn the race around. He had lost Iowa to George Bush Sr. at the time, and it looked like he was stumbling, and that reversed things. The difference with Rubio, what do you think here?
Well, Rubio, as you said, was calm. I don't think those activists, protesters were some part of some plan to make him look good. I was sitting in the room. They kind of walked in, tried to make themselves look like they weren't going to cause any trouble, and then they stood up and did that.
What were they saying? What were they protesting? I didn't understand.
They were protesting about immigration. They were wanting the DAPA program for deferred action to be restored or maintained, and so in a way it sort of gave Rubio, he wasn't giving that great of a speech for his level for relatively speaking, and it gave him sort of a moment to react and to do something that really got the crowd on his side. You know, anytime somebody's going after the presidential candidate with all those folks who support him, it's always sort of a good moment of political theater. And I think Rubio sees that because he's got, I think, good instincts.
I think a lot of them, too, are very good at want to have those unscripted moments where you get to see a little inside them, whether it appears staged or not. And I'm wondering, I remember when Mitt Romney was running, and, you know, corporations are people, too. I think he was at an Iowa farm or something, you know, it didn't register as much. But it showed a little bit more passion because he was trying to stand for this notion that, look, I mean, you might not like corporations, but they're populated by people. They're not machines. They're not robots. But it fell on deaf ears to a lot of people. I don't think that was fair. But how do candidates have to balance that?
Well, they sort of have to read the room and read the audience. And the reason I think this Rubio moment was so good is it really did two things. It one sort of shored him up on a weakness, which is immigration. You know, conservatives are a little suspicious of Rubio on immigration. So to have immigration activists attacking him is really good. It almost sort of negates the whole issue of it because, hey, if those left-wing immigration activists are attacking him, you know, he can't be all that different from us. And then also sort of allowed him to focus on his strength, which is the sort of narrative he has about America, that this is a country where you can do and say anything you want, and you're not going to be thrown in jail like some of those other countries, like, say, Cuba or many of the other Latin American countries that a lot of illegal immigrants are coming from and escaping. So I think in a lot of ways it was sort of a perfect moment for him, and I think you sort of have to know what your audience is wanting and what your strengths are when you do some kind of unscripted moment like that.
You know, Evan Thomas, the historian, has had a book on Nixon, said that candidates will always try to seize on the moment where they can look or appear presidential, because he says that everyone looks at candidates, particularly at this stage, as, can I picture them up there at a G8 meeting and representing us? Can I picture them, you know, leading us, being someone who won't get hot under the collar or go crazy or whatever? And these things matter in that sense. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, again, look at the difference between the way Reagan reacted. You know, we're all sort of expecting this calm, cool, collected guy, and then he gets angry, and that gets the people on his side kind of excited too. Oh, he's passionate about us. Rubio, on the other hand, has sort of has a threshold to cross that, you know, maybe he's too young to be doing this. So to look so cool and collected and sort of pause, take a drink of his water, and say, okay, I'll let them do their thing, and then I'll continue with my speech, I think helps elevate him, makes him look a little more mature. Which, of course, he needs, being one of the youngest candidates in the race. Yeah,
this drinking water worked out better than the last drinking water.
Exactly.
But thank you very much, Mike. Very interesting. You never know with these things. Meanwhile, you know you're a big deal when